Judy Garland. Judy Garland, the voice that defined a generation and the star who brought Dorothy Gale to life, spent her final years haunted by the weight of her fame. By the time of her death in the summer of 1969, Garland's life had become a tragic reflection of the pressures of Hollywood's golden age. Her death in a London bathroom was officially attributed to an accidental reaction to medication. But the truth surrounding her final days revealed a far more complex story. In her last conversations, Garland reportedly admitted to close friends that she felt like a puppet her entire life, controlled by the studio system that had shaped her career. She confessed that the relentless demands of MGM during her teenage years had left her physically and emotionally scarred, a revelation that cast a dark shadow over her iconic performances. What many don't know is that Garland's struggles with addiction and financial ruin were not just personal battles. They were the result of a system that exploited her from the start. In her final months, she was performing in small clubs, desperate to make ends meet, a far cry from the grandeur of her earlier years. Even more heartbreaking, Garland reportedly expressed fears that she would be remembered only for her struggles, not for her talent. Her final confessions painted a picture of a woman who had given everything to her craft, only to be left broken by the very industry that had made her a star. Garland's final moments were a sobering reminder of the cost of fame, a truth that continues to resonate decades after her passing. George Reeves. George Reeves, the man who became a household name as Superman in the 1950s, left behind a legacy shrouded in mystery and controversy. His death in 1959 was officially attributed to a firearm-related incident, but the circumstances surrounding it have fueled speculation for decades. In the days leading up to his death, Reeves reportedly confided in close friends about his deep frustrations with being typecast as Superman. He admitted that the role, while iconic, had effectively ended his chances of being taken seriously as an actor. Reeves had dreams of a career in serious drama, but Hollywood had boxed him into the cape and tights, leaving him disillusioned and bitter. What makes Reeves's story even more unsettling are the whispers of foul play that emerged after his death. Some accounts suggest that Reeves had been involved in a tumultuous relationship with Toni Mannix, the wife of a powerful MGM executive, and that this connection may have played a role in his untimely demise. Others claim that Reeves had expressed fears for his safety in the weeks before his death, adding another layer of intrigue to the case. Whether his death was the result of despair or something more sinister, Reeves's final days revealed a man trapped by the very role that had made him famous. His story remains one of Hollywood's most enduring mysteries, a cautionary tale of the darker side of stardom. Lupe Velez. Lupe Velez, the fiery Mexican actress known as the Mexican Spitfire, was a trailblazer in Hollywood during the 1920s and 30s. Her vibrant personality and bold performances made her a star, but her personal life was marked by turbulence and heartbreak. In 1944, Velez's life came to a sudden and tragic end, and the circumstances surrounding her death have been the subject of speculation ever since. Officially, her death was attributed to complications from sleeping medication, but the details of her final hours tell a far more dramatic story. In a note reportedly left behind, Velez expressed deep despair over an unplanned pregnancy and a failed relationship with actor Harold Maresh. However, some accounts suggest that Velez's death may not have been as straightforward as it seemed. Friends later revealed that she had been struggling with the pressures of maintaining her career in a Hollywood that often marginalized Latina actresses. Velez had confided in those close to her that she felt trapped between two worlds, her Mexican heritage and the demands of an industry that often reduced her to a stereotype. Even more shocking are the rumors that Velez's death may have been staged to preserve her image as a glamorous star. Some believe that the chaotic scene described in early reports was exaggerated or fabricated to add drama to her story. Whether her death was a tragic accident or a carefully orchestrated act, Her final moments revealed the immense pressures she faced as a woman of color in Hollywood's golden age. Her story remains a poignant reminder of the sacrifices made by those who dared to challenge the status quo. Margaret Gibson. Margaret Gibson, a silent film actress whose career peaked in the early 20th century, lived a life that seemed to fade into obscurity after her time in the spotlight. But her final moments in 1964 revealed a secret so shocking that it reignited interest in her life decades after her death. On her deathbed, Gibson reportedly confessed to being involved in one of Hollywood's most infamous unsolved crimes, the murder of director William Desmond Taylor in 1922. Taylor's death had been a scandal that rocked the film industry, with rumors of love triangles, blackmail, and betrayal swirling around the case. Gibson's confession added a new layer of intrigue to the mystery. What makes this revelation even more startling is that Gibson had been arrested for extortion and other crimes during her career, though she was never publicly linked to Taylor's murder at the time. Her admission suggested that she may have been present at the scene or even directly involved, though the details remain murky. Gibson's life after her Hollywood career was marked by financial struggles and a move to relative anonymity. But her deathbed confession ensured that her name would forever be tied to one of the darkest chapters in early Hollywood history. Whether her claim was true or a desperate attempt to leave a mark on history, it remains one of the most chilling confessions ever made by a Golden Age star. Loretta Young. Loretta Young, the elegant and devout actress who became one of Hollywood's most respected leading ladies, carried a secret for decades that only came to light in her later years. Known for her roles in films like The Farmer's Daughter and The Bishop's Wife, Young carefully cultivated an image of grace and morality. But behind the scenes, she harbored a deeply personal truth that she only fully acknowledged shortly before her death in 2000. Young revealed that her daughter, Judy Lewis, was the result of a secret relationship with Clark Gable, her co-star in the 1935 film The Call of the Wild. For years, Young had maintained that Judy was adopted, a story she crafted to protect her career and reputation in an era when an out-of-wedlock pregnancy could destroy a woman's standing in Hollywood. The truth, however, was far more complicated. Young later revealed that her relationship with Gable had been complicated and fraught with challenges, though she refrained from providing specific details about the nature of their interactions. Her decision to keep the secret for so long reflected the immense pressure placed on women in the industry to conform to societal expectations. Young's late-life confession not only reshaped her legacy, but also shed light on the darker realities faced by actresses during Hollywood's golden age. Tallulah Bankhead. Tallulah Bankhead, the larger-than-life actress known for her husky voice, sharp wit, and unapologetic lifestyle, left behind a legacy as one of Hollywood's most flamboyant and controversial stars. By the time of her death in 1968, Bankhead's health had deteriorated due to years of heavy drinking and smoking, but her sharp tongue and fearless honesty remained intact. In her final days, Bankhead reportedly made a series of candid admissions about her life, including her regrets over the roles she had turned down and the relationships she had sabotaged. One of the most surprising revelations was her acknowledgement of the toll her hedonistic lifestyle had taken on her career. Bankhead admitted that her refusal to conform to Hollywood's expectations had cost her major opportunities, including roles that could have cemented her as one of the greatest actresses of her time. She also expressed a deep sense of loneliness, confessing that her larger-than-life persona had often been a mask to hide her insecurities. Despite her regrets, Bankhead remained defiant until the end, reportedly quipping to a friend, "I've lived my life the way I wanted, and I wouldn't change a thing." Her final moments were a fitting end to a life that defied convention, revealing the vulnerability behind the bravado of one of Hollywood's most unforgettable stars. Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford, the fiercely ambitious actress who rose from humble beginnings to become one of Hollywood's most enduring stars, spent her final years in relative seclusion. Known for her iconic roles in films like Mildred Pierce and Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, Crawford was a perfectionist who carefully controlled her public image. However, in her later years, she reportedly made a series of candid admissions that revealed the toll her relentless pursuit of stardom had taken on her personal life. One of the most startling revelations came from those closest to her, who claimed that Crawford expressed deep regret over her strained relationships with her children. Her adopted daughter, Christina Crawford, had already begun writing the controversial memoir Mommy Dearest, which would later portray Joan as a strict and demanding parent. In her final days, Crawford reportedly admitted that her obsession with discipline and perfection may have alienated her children, though she stopped short of fully acknowledging the allegations. Crawford also confided in friends about her insecurities, revealing that she had always feared being replaced or forgotten in an industry that thrived on youth and beauty. Despite her glamorous image, she admitted to feeling deeply lonely, especially in her later years when her career had faded. Her final moments were a stark contrast to the powerful, commanding presence she had projected on screen, offering a glimpse into the vulnerability of a woman who had spent her life chasing perfection. Frances Farmer. Frances Farmer, the rebellious actress whose talent and beauty captivated audiences in the 1930s, became better known for her tragic personal life than for her work on screen. By the time of her death in 1970, Farmer's life had been marked by a series of public struggles, including battles with mental health and a highly publicized legal conservatorship. In her final years, Farmer reportedly made a series of confessions that shed light on the darker chapters of her life, including her time in psychiatric institutions. Farmer revealed to close friends that she had been deeply disillusioned by Hollywood, describing the industry as a machine that chewed up and discarded those who didn't conform. She admitted that her outspoken nature and refusal to play by the rules made her a target, leading to her eventual blacklisting. Even more unsettling were her accounts of the treatment she experienced during her institutionalization, which she described as deeply distressing and harsh. While Farmer avoided going into explicit detail, her words painted a harrowing picture of the challenges she faced during that time. Despite the hardships, Farmer expressed a sense of peace in her later years, finding solace in a quieter life away from the spotlight. Her final reflections revealed a woman who had been broken by the system, but had managed to reclaim a sense of dignity and self-worth. Farmer's story remains a haunting reminder of the price of defiance in an industry that demanded conformity. Ingrid Bergman. Ingrid Bergman, the luminous star of classics like Casablanca and Notorious, spent her final years reflecting on a life filled with triumphs and controversies. By the time of her death in 1982, Bergman had become a symbol of resilience, having weathered public scandals and personal challenges with grace. In her later years, she reportedly made a series of candid admissions about the choices that had defined her life and career. One of the most surprising revelations was her acknowledgement of the impact her affair with Italian director Roberto Rossellini had on her career. The relationship, which began while Bergman was still married, caused a scandal in the late 1940s that led to her temporary exile from Hollywood. Bergman admitted that while the affair had been a turning point in her personal life, it had also been a source of immense pain, as she was vilified by the press and ostracized by the industry. Bergman also reflected on her role as a mother, confessing that her dedication to her career had often come at the expense of her family. She expressed regret over the time she had missed with her children, though she maintained that her passion for acting had been an essential part of who she was. In her final days, Bergman reportedly found comfort in the knowledge that she had lived life on her own terms, embracing both the triumphs and the mistakes. Her story remains a testament to the complexities of balancing personal ambition with public scrutiny, a challenge that defined much of her extraordinary life. Veronica Lake. Veronica Lake, the sultry star of This Gun for Hire and The Blue Dahlia, was once one of Hollywood's most glamorous leading ladies. Known for her iconic peekaboo hairstyle and femme fatale roles, Lake's career burned brightly but faded quickly. By the time of her death in 1973, she had spent years living in near obscurity, far removed from the glitz and glamour of her heyday. In her final years, Lake reportedly made a series of candid admissions about the struggles that had defined her life, both on and off the screen. One of the most startling revelations was her acknowledgement of how her own behavior had contributed to her downfall. Lake admitted that her reputation for being difficult to work with had alienated directors and co-stars, effectively ending her career in the 1940s. She also spoke openly about her challenges with drinking, which had contributed to her financial difficulties and personal struggles, including a series of failed marriages. Despite her hardships, Lake expressed no bitterness, instead reflecting on her life with a sense of acceptance. Perhaps the most poignant confession came in her final interviews, where she revealed that she had never truly felt at home in Hollywood. Lake described the industry as a place that valued appearances over substance, leaving her feeling isolated and misunderstood. Her final years, spent working as a waitress and living in modest circumstances, were a far cry from her days as a silver screen icon. Yet, in her own words, she found peace in the simplicity of her later life, a stark contrast to the chaos of her stardom. Marlene Dietrich. Marlene Dietrich, the enigmatic star of The Blue Angel and Morocco, was a symbol of sophistication and allure throughout her career. By the time of her death in 1992, Dietrich had spent the last decade of her life in near total seclusion in her Paris apartment. While she had long been known for her mystique, her final years revealed a more vulnerable side to the actress who had captivated audiences for decades. In her later years, Dietrich reportedly confided in close friends about the toll her carefully crafted image had taken on her personal life. She admitted that her relentless pursuit of perfection had left her feeling isolated as she struggled to maintain the illusion of glamour even as her health declined. Dietrich also reflected on her role as a mother, expressing regret over the strained relationship with her daughter, Maria Riva, who had written a revealing memoir about their family dynamic. One of the most surprising revelations came from Dietrich's private letters, in which she expressed deep disillusionment with Hollywood and the pressures of fame. She described the industry as a place that demanded constant reinvention, leaving little room for authenticity. Despite her regrets, Dietrich remained fiercely proud of her legacy, particularly her work entertaining Allied troops during World War II. Her final reflections revealed a woman who had lived life on her own terms, even as she grappled with the sacrifices that came with stardom. Peter Lorre. The unforgettable character actor known for his roles in The Maltese Falcon and M, Peter Lorre spent his final years reflecting on a career that had made him a Hollywood icon but left him yearning for more. By the time of his death in 1964, Peter had become disillusioned with the industry that had typecast him as a villain or eccentric, roles that often overshadowed his immense talent. In his final days, Lorre reportedly made a series of confessions that revealed the frustrations and disappointments he had carried throughout his life. One of the most striking admissions was his regret over being pigeonholed into sinister roles, which he felt limited his opportunities to showcase his range as an actor. He confided in friends that he had always dreamed of playing more complex, heroic characters, but had been unable to break free from the image Hollywood had created for him. He also spoke openly about the financial struggles he faced later in life, despite his success, as he had been poorly compensated for many of his most famous roles. Lorre's final reflections also touched on his personal life, including his struggles with health issues and the toll they had taken on his career. Despite his frustrations, Lorre expressed gratitude for the fans who had supported him throughout his life, finding solace in the knowledge that his work had left a lasting impact. His story remains a poignant reminder of the challenges faced by character actors in an industry that often values typecasting over talent. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment. Also, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell to get notified of our newest videos. Thanks for watching.